Jennies and Lentilmen, Goys and Burls, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about something that popped up on Twitter yesterday from an insider in Tom Henderson. Now, if you don't know who Tom Henderson is, he is probably one of, if not the most well-known insider for gaming and for leaking and all sorts of information that's like kind of behind closed doors that us general public wouldn't know about until he reports on it. And he talked about Xdefiant, not directly in an article, but in response to an article where he was talking about Ubisoft, and I don't know how to read the room on this kind of response, because it could be a really, really bad thing, or could just be a general consensus of what's been going on recently in the video game industry. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, smash the like button and subscribe. It means the world to me. We upload almost every single day here on the channel. You guys have been in love with the Xdefiant videos. I've been in love in making the Xdefiant commentary videos, because that's my style. It's bringing in new faces, new subscribers. We're building a bigger community of people who just want to have discussion and have fun. So yesterday, Tom Henderson posted an inside Ubisoft from low morale to internal tension. Now, I kind of skimmed through and read part of the articles just looking for Xdefiant when it first launched, and there isn't much to talk about when it came to Xdefiant, but there was a response that I kind of found pretty interesting. That was a person saying, great read overall, but why neglect the fact that Xdefiant is also releasing this year, regardless of the timely delays since last October, alongside the two mentioned in the not all doom and gloom segment of the article. So basically, he was talking about how like there's certain things inside of the Ubisoft world right now and universe that isn't doom and gloom, that doesn't look like they're down for a failure and that they're going to launch later this year. And he didn't mention Xdefiant. And Tom Henderson responded, Xdefiant is at risk of being yet another title of consistently being delayed if management doesn't get their shit together. Basically, maybe it's a separate, more in-depth article for another time. Now, this is got a lot of eyebrows raised. This has a lot of questions, especially from someone like me who's been pretty hardcore on the whole Xdefiant, like behind closed doors and transparency stuff, where the community loves the transparency with Mark Rubin, and I'll never take that away from him. I do think that he has been extremely transparent when it comes to the processes, but as delays came in and things went on, we heard all about the submission process and so many other things that felt like it was just kind of, I don't want to say excuse for why the game wasn't launching, but it didn't make any sense of why the game wasn't launching. When we played that most recent playtest after the beta, when it was, I want to say, what, September-ish maybe, right before the major delay, me and everyone that played that, and I would say 90% of the people that played it all agreed that this is a game right now that could definitely launch inside of early access. There would be like no issue with that. We would have no issue with that. So it was definitely like really confusing to most people out there. And then with the inevitable delay that came afterwards, and everyone just was like, what the fuck? Like, the delay just killed the hype for the game. The window of opportunity died. And we said then that the best time for the game to launch would be February to March, because it'd be like the downtime of Call of Duty and everything. I kept saying and here and there and sparingly in different videos and to other people that I believed Xdefiant had more than just this submission process going on. And if it was the submission process, the only way I could think that things were going wrong was that it was on the console end, because the PC version that we all got to play was definitely ready to ship with minor bugs, and we kind of ironed that out in early access. But the response from Tom Henderson, especially the end where he says maybe it's a separate, more in-depth article for another time, has me genuinely concerned of what is going on behind closed doors with Xdefiant. We know that the game had a couple netcode issues, and they went through to change the party system up and a little stuff here and there. But if you're like me, you're starting to question, like, hey, where is the game? Where is a teaser for the game? Where is something showing off this game? Because we know it's not going to shadow drop based off what Mark Rubin said. We know that there's going to be a marketing hype and time to install and all that. So when are we going to get that for the launch of the game? We would assume at some point we're going to get a teaser or just some kind of clarity. And that's why for the longest time, I truly believe that something else was going on behind closed doors. And Tom Henderson kind of leans into that more, that it's going to kind of have issues if management doesn't get their shit together. And I would love for Tom to touch more on this topic, or for Mark to come out and make a comment on it as well to kind of clarify maybe where this is going. I feel like Tom left this pretty open-ended and kind of explained to us, like, not a lot of what he means, because it could mean nothing. It could just mean that upper management, money being moved around, business transactions, stuff like that, just isn't getting flowed the right way it should. The delay might have fucked something up. But from a perspective of a consumer or a content creator and myself that talks about games and, reviews stuff and plays them, that is a scary, scary statement for someone who is so excited for Xdefiant and, is expecting something here soon. It's the end of January, the beginning of February. Like, February is this week, so I'm expecting some information very soon regarding Xdefiant, and then hearing that, well, that's a recipe for disaster. So now this is where things get foggy for me, because we've had the Xdefiant team, especially Mark Rubin, going around talking about how we have new features, clan wars, kill cams, one single life modes, all this other stuff that they'd like to add to the game in the roadmap of the future content and all that. But then we have Tom Henderson basically saying that management is kind of delaying this and not allowing the game to come out, and if they don't get their shit together, it's going to be a bad road for Xdefiant. So that makes me wonder, is management talking about the upper management of Ubisoft, the higher-ups? We know over the past week, the gaming industry has been a shit show. It has been an absolute clusterfuck. There has been more layoffs in the gaming industry than I ever expected to see it. If you're a Call of Duty fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Xbox and Call of Duty and Activision basically let away everyone. They laid off the entire staff of so many things for Call of Duty. Then came down with the CDL now, getting rid of a lot of their team. I mean, the Call of Duty Esports League is going to turn into just the fucking owners going to the events and watching the money they've shelled out on the stage, and there won't even be fans at this point because the CDL is a dying breed. And honestly, the CDL is something that when I was growing up, I went to COD Champs and stuff and watched the CWL, and it was fun with organizations that had more passion and they were more into, the competitive side of games. But when it comes to that, the big suits above the higher-ups, they always make the last chance decisions, and they make all the last-minute decisions for the companies to sell their games and stuff. So that's why I'm wondering, is Xdefiant falling victim to something bigger at Ubisoft? Does Ubisoft not see Xdefiant as a potential to be super successful, or are they just weighing the market based off of Modern Warfare 3 and other FPS games like the Finals? I don't know. Obviously, I don't know that much about upper management in video games. Never will, but it's kind of concerning if you're a fan of Xdefiant. So I guess the way I look at this is like Xdefiant, a fever dream that's never going to happen, and it's going to continue to get delayed until it's canceled one day. Is it inevitably never going to launch? Are we going to be playing it in a month from now? Like, there's so many questions that I want to ask and that I'd love to know the answer to, and I can't answer myself. So Tom Henderson is definitely one of those people that you can't take things with a grain of salt. Usually when he says things, he's got something to back it up. He's been around this forever. He's been right about almost everything he reports on. So as a fan of Xdefiant and a content creator who's looking forward to the game, I got some concerns when he posts something like this. But let me know down in the comments section below, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think there's something crazy going on behind closed doors? I know this hype is still there. I know we're all going to be talking about how exciting this is, and this isn't meant to dwell on the hype, but I just want to know your guys' thoughts and opinions. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Turn on those post notification bells so you guys never miss an upload. You guys are beautiful, one of a kind. I love you guys to death, and until next time, guys, deuces, boys.